G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. How are we all doing today? Today we have a lovely treat. As you can see in front of us, we have a beautiful Indian Chief Dark Horse 116 with that beautiful Thunderstroke engine that pushes out about 1890 cc's, 162 newton meters of torque on this one. This is a 23 model, makes around 90-ish horsepower. This paint job, especially in the sun, god damn is gorgeous. As you can look at it, man. Of course, in Australia, we get these lovely tails. They don't let us have the side-mounted plates, even though technically they do comply with the legal standards. But let's get onto this thing and enjoy it, shall we? So, push start is easy, it's keyless, all that goodness. And then let's adjust these mirrors quickly, because I do like to be able to see this time. And once it's on, look at that. Beautiful air-cooled exhaust engine, and let's listen. It's a stock exhaust, nothing crazy. Warning, oh yes, all that good stuff. Same tacho as the other one. Let's enjoy this beautiful torque monster. Oh, already it feels different than the Scout does, as you would imagine. It's definitely a lot more engine brakey on the first gear than the Scout was, that's for sure. So let's get out on the road, do a proper hello for this thing, shall we? Now this is a chunky bike, I'll give it that. It's like 307 kilograms if I'm not mistaken. I would love to go out, but I don't trust myself on new bikes to pull out in front of traffic just yet. But I tell you what, the mid controls are certainly a little bit more forgiving than I'd say the Indian Scouts were. It doesn't feel very big, this bike, I'll give it that. I thought it'd be a lot bigger feeling of a motorcycle, but it doesn't. You got your cruise control, you got your Bluetooth and all that controls as well. So I'm keen to see all that stuff. Let's go. Oh yeah. Let's give it a little. Oh, I think I just spun the tire. Oh man. This thing is already insane. Definitely a very different feel to the Indian Scout, that's for sure. I don't know what it is, but every other brand of bike I've ridden just doesn't have really nice clicky indicators like the Honda I ride does. I don't know what it is. And I'm also told that this bike will wheelie. Oh my lord. I tell you what, the mid control's a bit strange. You do hit this this thing quite a bit, which is interesting to me because I'm familiar with that experience coming from the you know, the Honda, but it's on the opposite side. Now this bike also comes with sports mode, which terrifies me a little bit given how it's felt so far, but you know what? This is fine. You can definitely tell when you're in first gear because it makes a whine. And we're in neutral. Let's get back to the main menu, shall we? Perfection. Same dash as the last one, man. This thing definitely... Oh, man. Oh, it definitely feels different in sports mode. Oh, Lord. Now I can see how this bike would wheelie. But god damn. The mid controls are comfortable, but this engine thing's just not doing it for me, I'll tell you that much. I kind of don't like how that feels. I might even go for the forwards on this bike if I was to get one. In its current state, it's sort of annoying. But in first gear, this thing would absolutely spin tires. Oh god. Now, I hope you guys understand, I am barely tickling this throttle. It's a very different experience than the Indian Scout was. Now I can see how people would say it's a bit jerky on the acceleration in sports mode. It's definitely way less smooth, but I want to review it in sports mode because, well, if I was to buy this, I'd probably leave it in sports mode myself most of the time, if not all of the time. And now, if I'm not mistaken, I think this bike does have self-cancelling indicators. I could be wrong on that one, so we'll find out. Oh, trying not to scrape these pegs. Now the joys about this bike, before we give it a pull, so this bike you can sort of chuck it in a lower gear. Look at that, it's only at 1500 RPM and it still chugs along nicely, and you can still pull, which is what gives it the appeal. Now this tank does wobble a little bit. I've seen, you can see it's rubber mounted. It doesn't wobble as much as some of the other ones I've seen. The mirrors are quite nice, this teardroppy design. It sounds good. I can imagine with an exhaust this bike would sound absolutely fantastic, but currently the stock exhaust doesn't sound shocking, all right? Doesn't sound great when you rev it in an idle, I'll give it that. It sounds a bit woeful, but just giving it the old how do you do here, it's got enough of a go to give you that ear tickle. I tell you what though, the Indian Chief is one of those bikes I think is absolutely stunning to look at. This paint job in the sun is gorgeous, man. I love this red, it's fantastic. Suspension's definitely a lot more plump than the Scout's was, that's for sure. So let's go around this bend and see how it all boogies. On the side of the tyre, obviously it's a cruiser, man. It's not made for the most heaviest of leans. It's got about a 29-degree lean angle on the left, and I think it's 20, or it's either 29 on the left or 29 on the right and 28.5 on the other side, but it's not too horrible, all right? I've ridden the Scout, it's not too bad. Once if you own a bike like this, you'll sort of get used to it, but whoo, the vibrations through the handlebars are nice, and they're not overly buzzy. They're just like dut, 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 as you would expect from an engine of this caliber. Now remember, all of the torque of this engine hits at like 3,000 RPM, as opposed to higher up at 7,000 where the Indian Scouts was. All right, so it's by no means a slouch, but it's a cruiser, man. It's a big American cruiser, if at that. So see, watch if I just give this the old. Ho 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 ho! That was good. And now that was a legal pull. I stopped at the speed limit, so you can imagine if you let this thing just boogie a little bit further down the range. This thing is not unwieldy. I'm gonna be honest, this thing feels easier to ride than the Harley did. The Harley felt a lot heavier. This feels a little bit more on the power, as it were. Why is everyone going so slow here? It's not a 60 zone, for God's sakes. Now, coming off a few bumps, ladies and gentlemen, you certainly feel them, but unlike the Honda Rebel, my back doesn't get absolutely destroyed whilst going over them, so that's a very nice addition to experience. The clutch is not as heavy as I thought it would have been on a bike of this size, man. I would have thought it would be a lot heavier. Like, the Harley clutch felt heavier than this. Oh, that's a lethal feeling. Now, on sports mode, you do feel a little as you're riding the accelerator. Now, I imagine as you're going through your lower power modes, like your standard mode, that feeling's probably going to disappear because it's not going from open to not open, whereas this is basically just going from very, very light throttle to, oh my God, we're going full speed. You know what I mean? Excuse me, truck, let me through. Don't do it. Fortunately, I am recording everything, so if anything does happen, it ain't my fault unless it's my fault. You know what I mean? But dude, this thing, it does not feel as large and in charge as I really expected a bike of this size and engine power to do. It's a mid-sized cruiser by all standards, but it doesn't feel like one. Does that make sense? It actually feels rather playful. It's like, look, when you're doing your side-to-sides, it's by no means as quick as the Rebel is. It's definitely weightier, being 100 kilos more, 110 kilos more, but it doesn't feel super, super huge. It's actually quite nice, if I'm being honest. I really like how this bike feels. Oh no, don't tell me I'm going to be sold on the Chief over the Scout, man. Ah, too many bikes. Oh, that decel, very sexy. Oh, that instant rush of torque is just so good. Oh my Lord. It's actually rather addicting. Now, I'm going to do something sacrilegious and put it back into standard mode because I'm curious what it's like to just cruise around in standard mode, because I did that entire Indian Scout video basically in sports mode, and I do find the sports mode on this one is a lot more choppy. Does that make sense? It's more on or off, whereas the Indian Scout was more power versus smooth, and this one is a lot more, because it's got that higher torque power, it's more whereas the Scout was more. So the Scout was definitely a bit slower even in sports mode to the power, but that's because its power is all top end, whereas this thing is just instantaneous delivery of smiles and kisses. Now, as for the brakes, I'm actually not too fussed with the brakes. Look at that little Harley over there as well. Very nice looking thing. Big front tyre. But we're not focused on Harley, baby. We're focusing on the OG American brand, even though they vanished for a whole bunch of time and then came back afterwards, but we don't talk about that. We're just here to focus on that raw American Thunderstroke, baby. It's definitely a lot smoother in standard mode. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. I tell you, man, experiencing all these motorbikes is definitely a blessing. So I do give a big thank you to Indian's dealership at Team Moto in Dandenong. They are nothing but wonderful to me. They gave me a call this afternoon. I was about to have a nap, and I got a phone call. He goes, I heard you wanted to ride a Chief. We just got some in. And I went, did you now? Now, I'm pretty sure this Chief was here last time I came, but I think they only got the green light to let him test ride or something now, because they didn't let me touch it last time. And the moment he called me, he goes, what day do you want to come in? I'm like, I'm coming now. And he goes, I guess I'll see you in half an hour. And I went, that you will, sir, that you will. Now let's ride that rear brake. Oh, the rear brake's got a bit of grab, actually. It's not expecting it to have that much. Now it does hit the ABS pretty quickly, I'll give it that. But getting this bike in neutral is a treat. It's got a nice rear brake feel. It does hit pretty early. You will lean on the exhaust if you aren't careful. That is what I just did there. Fortunately, I'm wearing my Kevlar pants for once. But I find this bike a lot easier to find the foot pegs just by nature, because I'm so used to it being in this position anyway. Oh, yeah. Now, the thing about these kind of cruisers are, if you're looking for pure speed and power, dude, this isn't the kind of bike you buy for that sort of experience. This is a bike you buy for having that lovely arm-ripping torque. Now, I dare say the Harley felt a little bit punchier, but it's also because it had an exhaust on it. I don't know about you guys, but if you ride a bike with a stock exhaust, it just doesn't feel as punchy to me. Also, being the ape hangers, it felt a little different, but this bike feels absolutely awesome. Now, apparently this bike is faster than the Harleys out of the gate. The newer models make a little less torque, a little less power because of emissions, and if you want to fix it, you can tune it out, but you do have to ship the ECU off to America and all that annoying stuff. But just this one, this being a 23 model, this has got none of the emissions locks yet, still makes all that 162 beautiful Newton meters of power, and I dare say, looks and feels good doing it. This is one of the nicest paint jobs I've ever seen on a bike. Oh, that is addictingly beautiful. Now, I know a lot of sports bike guys like to give these bigger cruisers a lot of shit because they're slow, you're paying a lot of money for not a lot of bike, you know what I mean? You're paying for, why would you pay nearly, well, this one's $21,000, but on average the new ones are going for about 30 grand. He goes, why would you pay nearly $30,000 for a bike that hasn't even got 100 horsepower? And you go, you're missing the point, you know what I mean? You don't buy a Harley because it's a fast bike. You don't buy a tractor to go win drag strips, you know what I mean? You buy these for the feel and experience they provide, and these bikes provide a vastly different experience than your standard sports bike, that's for sure. So you don't buy a cruiser motorcycle to go quick. You buy it because it has that arm out the socket torque, baby, and it's great fun. I love it. And a bike like this is beautiful to look at, and that's another thing. You do buy these bikes because they look nice, all right? Objectively, a lot of people would think that cruisers look good. Now, I know it's a subjective thing. Some people hate cruisers. Some people hate sports bikes. I used to be one of those people, but then I came to my senses and just decided I like all things motorbike. But the cruisers typically favour styling over everything else. So they have torque and style, whereas sports bikes are no ergonomics. They got some style in some of them, and they're all horsepower. So remember, horsepower is how fast you hit the wall. Torque's how far you pull the wall with you after you smack into it, is how they go by layman's terms. Now, I know there's more to it than that. There is a bakery over there, and it smells divine, but currently, this thing is tickling my fancy. The levers are large and chunky. It's a bit strange to me, I'll be honest. I'm used to having those really thin and rounded ones. These have just got slightly rounded edges on them. And there's nothing wrong with that by any stretch of the imagination. They're still nice, but it's just weird to me. Just let that be known. There's a nice, I mean, I swear the whine on this when you're coming down from first gear is quite enticing. Let's give it one more. Now, I feel like it will be amiss of me not to give the old slower speed in this one a bit of a go. Touring mode. Come on now. There we go. Now, touring mode does make this thing a lot more of a cruisy machine. It gets rid of all that real punchiness that comes out of it. Now, it will still get up to speed just fine. It just means that the throttle response is going to be nice and relaxed, you know what I mean? As you can feel. So that felt more akin to like the Scout where you... and then it revs into it, but you know what I mean? So that's tour mode. We're just going to take it straight back out and leave it in standard mode for us. Now, I think you have to stop accelerating for that to truly kick in. But I tell you what, tour mode on this feels nice. Standard mode on this one feels like more how I would daily this bike, honestly. The Indian Scout sports mode is the only way I would ride that bike. This one, honestly, I think I'd ride it in standard mode because the sports mode is very, you know what I mean? It's very on or off, whereas on the Scout it was very, just helping the throttle open up into its max capacity, if that makes sense. Oh, that smack in your face torque. And it's always so depressing, because then I leave and then I hop on the Rebel, which has like 50 Newton meters of torque. This has 162. This has more than 3 times the amount of torque I have, and it's right at the bottom of the revs. This being an older one, I believe the torque hits about 2,700 RPM. The newer one hits at about 3,000, so you can imagine it's not as punchy, but it's still there. This one is more punchy than the older one, so god damn, it just feels right. There's no other way to put it. It just feels right. Oh man, I hate having to give these things back. Woo-wee! Oh man, this is my last little straight on this bike, ladies and gentlemen. But I will give you my final thoughts and opinions when I get to the Indian dealership, as you know. But I think you can already tell this bike. Oh, she pretty. She very pretty, and I kind of want one. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I actually think this is the driveway I should start coming through, because it's not as, it's not as cooked as the other one. Oh, dude, this thing is a delight, an absolute delight. So let's put this thing right where it deserves to be, out in front of the dealership. Beautiful. Kills it just how you expect it would. Ugh. Absolutely gorgeous machine. So let's have another little look at it. It's bell driven. You get a nice twin into the one exhaust. Twin into the one? My bad. You get a nice 2 exhaust that goes into your shotgun style. Full systems are available, of course. You get your lovely Thunderstroke 1890cc engine. It is absolutely fantastic, and it's red as well. You have a look at these nice forged rims on these things. I think they're forged. I'm not good with my terminology with these things, but rims are nice. Single brake up front. I did a full in-depth of this bike, as you saw recently. 4-inch TFT, lovely teardrop mirrors. The levers are nice. They're larger than charge. LED Pathfinder light, I think, is by stock. Lovely large kickstand. Beautiful suspension. It's a cruiser, what do you expect? But ladies and gents, this bike is fantastic. I would absolutely buy one of these things. And this red, very, very lush. But ladies and gentlemen, that is everything for today's video. I hope you did enjoy. Let me know your comments down below on the Indian Chief Dark Horse 116. Otherwise, take it easy, keep it cheesy, have a wonderful day, and peace. Bye!